BYU football with one of the legends of the program. Hans Olsen is in Studio B for the first time officially as the new BYU Football Radio Analyst. Congratulations on the new gig.
Appreciate it. And if I would have known you were wearing that color orange, I would have worn my sunglasses.
A little bright.
Woo, that's bright.
You're going to get some nice UV rays here. Hans is going to have a nice suntan after this interview.
It's almost the same color as my tanner that I put on.
You're a big bronzer guy, I know. Yeah.
Hey, when did this whole conversation about you potentially being the radio analyst begin?
I guess it's probably been about a month that we've been working through these things, and just had the opportunity to at least look at it and was thrilled with the prospects of it.
This is so exciting because obviously you've been in radio for a long time with Scotty G, who we love, and you do a great job. And now doing games, you've been doing a couple games. You did some you did like a couple bowl game or a couple bowl games. Getting into the game side of it, let's be honest. The reason that everything else exists besides the games is to get to the games, right? So now you're in the game. What does it mean to be the next in line at that position where, listen, Mark Lyons had that forever. Riley did a tremendous job, and now you're the next in line. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's funny. I've gone into a lot of deep thought on that. And what it means to me is representing the generation that I came through, representing the Lavelle Edwards era, representing Tom Ramage and his amazing vision of what the defensive line should be, representing Roger French and Ken Schmidt and Brian Mitchell and that group of coaches, representing the players that came through my generation, guys that really do deserve that recognition, and guys that are coaching. Obviously, Justin Enna and Kalani Sataki, and really it goes down the list, Aaron Roderick, and so on. A lot of guys that deserve that. My goal is to represent them and try to make them proud, along with the BYU fans and my family. I want to make people proud.
Hans Olsen is with us on BYU Sports Nation as the new radio analyst, joining Greg Wrubell. What were those conversations like with Greg in the buildup as you were trying to figure things out? And I mean, I know you've known Greg for a long time. He called your games in some part in the year 2000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or leading up to.
And he was on the sideline with his Batman utility belt.
He was with you. So what were those conversations like?
Well, boy, in complete honesty, it was extremely humbling. Very humbling. Because I have not been approached by BYU often. And as you mentioned, I've been here for 16 years doing radio and been breaking down the game for a lot of years. 5 years on a national broadcast for bowl games, as you were mentioning. So I've been around doing it a long time. And when he called, it was just this real feeling of humility and just gratitude that I would be considered for something like this. You know, it's emotional. I've fought back tears multiple times. It's exciting to be in a booth that I'm so familiar with, that I played for, that I've talked about for 16 years, and sat on the outside, the skirts of it, doing pre and post games. For 16 years, I've done BYU pre and post game shows, and to be brought into the booth, man, I don't share that deep of emotion very often, but fought back a lot of tears during those conversations, and gratitude to Greg.
And as being in this position, you are in the inner sanctum now. Like, you are welcomed into, you are literally part of the team.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And we're excited to get to work with you way more often, which will be great as well. Also, part of the sort of rite of passage of becoming the analyst is taking a picture like this one.
Yeah. Oh, this is fantastic.
Greg, which is sort of Step Brothers-ish, which is awesome. Now you're in, and you have the same shirt on, which is the official shirt of BYU Football Radio at this point.
Oh boy, man,
it's a classic, an instant classic.
You guys look great.
Greg called me for the pictures. He said, "Hey, if you could shave your head."
You had grown it out. It was crazy looking.
Oh, man.
Well, and it's not the first sort of look that we've debuted on this program like this.
It's not.
We had you and Shep.
Yeah, listen,
a similar one.
We like, we like brotherly pictures, bro.
I think I left that day, and then later I was like, you guys did what?
Oh.
Apparently you've deleted all those.
How will your life change now? Because you mentioned you've been doing radio for 16 years, the pre and post game specifically at BYU, and you got a daily show and you're super busy. So how will this impact your day to day?
Not much, and that's probably why this was a good fit for me. I'm already doing a lot of video reviews, and I think people are probably familiar with some of my work.
They're awesome.
I do a lot of football breakdowns, and I do it kind of statewide. So it won't change a ton. I do a lot in researching opponent, so I know who BYU's got coming up. I know the personnel so that I can talk intelligently about it on my daily show. It will include a little bit more travel, so I'll be away from the family a little bit, but as we talked to Greg and back and forth with Casey and others, it was an open opportunity to find flights that fit so I could watch my son play in high school and watch my youngest daughter continue to play and have an opportunity to get out and see them. It'll change some of the weekends plans, but it doesn't change a lot of my life. It just adds an incredible component to it, a really great component to it. I keep thinking about this too. I actually called Mark Durant. I'm like, so Mark, how do we do this thing? And Mark said, you keep your mouth shut and you don't ruin it for Greg. Greg is the master at this.
Greg's the man.
And he said, just keep your mouth shut and don't ruin it because Greg's going to make this great. So excited to work with Greg, excited to work with Mitch. I mean, these guys are high-end professionals, and I'll just do my best to stay back and not ruin it. Just see if I can add some to it.
It means in the fall you don't have to teach Sunday school.
It does that.
Because you won't be in town 6 of the weeks. Is this a bigger deal than Merrill being on, Little House on the Prairie?
Oh, Merlin? Oh.
Merlin, sorry, Merlin.
Ah, jeez.
The legend.
You know what? I guess if I had Michael Landon in the booth with me,
Then it would be.
then maybe. No, it's definitely not. He called Super Bowls, so
That's legit.
yeah, he was on a
I
call
just
with
wanted to
many
bring
Super
up
Bowls.
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
And we still watch reruns. Yeah,
sure.
they're
As a
still
kid,
good.
I was like, dude, there's Merlin Olsen. He's on Little House on the Prairie. He also played football.
I was thinking of changing my broadcast name to Jonathan Garvey, but that is a Little House reference.
Nice.
Listen, this audience gets that.
Yeah.
The
They
old
should.
KBYUers.
This is our version of Highway to Heaven on BYU TV and BYU
That still airs on BYU. Yeah,
with Hans
exactly.
Olsen and Michael
got the
Landon.
good.
Another great movie.
Let's talk spring football. We're going to get somewhat of a look at BYU tomorrow in scrimmage format.
baby.
You've been around practice. You have an idea of the energy and the vibe that we've all been talking about. We've been to practice, but now fans are going to get to watch it live on TV. So what do you think we're going to see actually revealed by BYU tomorrow, and what are you looking for in that format?
Depending on how deep you go into the game, you'll get to really see the different defensive fronts that Jay Hill's bringing, and that's exciting. Some of the defenses that people are going to get to see, the aggression on the outside, and some of the things that he can do in multiple coverages and really mixing things up. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited for people to see what Kelly Popinga and Justin Enna and Jay Hill and Sione Pua and Gennaro Guilford, who remains, what they do defensively. And if you don't catch some of those nuances, I'll be talking about a lot of those nuances. The personnel, I think, is going to speak for itself. I think people are going to be excited to see some of the returning missionaries. Obviously, the transfer, Keaton Slovis. You're going to get a real taste for his release and some of his vision in Aaron Roderick's offense, and how Fesi Sitake and Aaron Roderick work together with Keaton to try to get him up to where you had a Zach Wilson or you had a Jaron Hall. That's the hope, that you can get Keaton Slovis to that level of performance, accuracy, and efficiency. And I'm excited because BYU fans are going to get to see this offensive line for the first time. And I have a belief that this offensive line is, and I know losing Blake Freeland's really difficult.
And the Barringtons.
Those are really difficult.
Yeah.
But I think there are some amazing components. I cannot wait for people to see Kingsley's growth. Kingsley Suamataea
He's special.
He's one of those special offensive linemen on the outside, and I'm really excited about that. And then I think that Connor Pay in the inside taking those center snaps is really going to anchor that thing down. They're just going to get a sense of what this first Big 12 team is going to look like. And I'm excited for them to see it, specifically the defensive side, because it's going to look, it's recognizably different.
Yes.
It's exciting.
And I think recognizably better. Those are the fingers crossed.
Yes, that is the hope. And hope springs eternal.
And prayer.
Well, I know
everybody.
This staff, I actually sent out a staff wish list when we knew that the defensive staff was going to change.
Yeah.
This staff was essentially my wish list.
Every
There was one name that was left off, but
you got 3 out of the 4.
This was the group.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the group.
Can you write some more wish lists?
People should be thrilled about Jay Hill. You know, one of the things of me taking this job was thinking, I am so pumped to call these games.
Yes.
For Jay and for Aaron Roderick and for Kalani.
And Big 12.
Because these guys' vision of football is awesome. And to call the Big 12 games.
Amazing.
What a thrill.
It's going to be awesome.
You know, to have a chance with Oklahoma and Texas. As you mentioned, I've done a lot of SEC games. I've called the Ole Misses and the Iowas and the Kentuckys. I've called a lot of those big Big 10 SEC matchups. And I love those. But it's Big 12, it's conference play, and I'm hoping to bring that energy, excitement. I will warn people, you probably think of me as being kind of a comedian funny. When the game kicks,
all business.
It's actually, it's business. Yep. And it's not pulled into a brand, it's pulled into the game. And I get pulled into the emotional matchups and aspects of the game. And I try to bring that through the broadcast. The matchups, I identify certain matchups going into a game, the battles inside the big battle, and I focus on those things and get drawn into them emotionally. And so I try to take people on that journey during game day in those broadcasts. I'm excited about that.
Hans, congratulations again.
Yeah, congrats,
we're thrilled to have you.
Awesome.
We're thrilled to have you be more of a, an integral part of BYU Sports Nation altogether. Can't wait to listen. And if you could make a wish list that includes at least 8 wins for BYU football next year,
that'd be nice.
That'll be great.
That'd be great.
Congrats, man.
We can make it.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
You got it.
Yep.